I call this meeting to order at 9:04. May you all rise and join me in the flag salute.
Actually, just give us 1 second. Whoa.
Okay.
whoa, we're doing
They
flag
don't
salute.
see our thing.
Yeah.
We're good.
Put your right hand over your heart, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may all be seated. Thank you. City Clerk, can you take the roll call, please?
Mayor Lopez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Here.
Councilmember Davis, Councilmember Menke,
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do.
I believe the city attorney has a change.
Okay.
Yes, good morning, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. This morning, we do have an item that we'd asked to add to the agenda. The one item that came up after the posting of the agenda, and there's an immediate need for the City Council to take action on this item. The item to be added as a subsequent need matter is the approval of a space use agreement with the County of Los Angeles and the City of Vernon for COVID-19 testing and related services and support tasks. A copy of the space use agreement was distributed to you yesterday afternoon. A motion will be needed at this time to add this item to the agenda with the findings that it came up after the posting of the agenda, and there's an immediate need for the City Council to take action. The motion needs a second and requires a 4/5 vote by the City Council to be added to the agenda. And then once it has been added, it needs only a majority vote to approve the agreement. That's the only change to the agenda. So at this time, Madam Mayor, if there's a motion to add the service use agreement with the county.
I'll move to
The
add
agenda.
I'll move to add it to the agenda.
I'll second. Oh, Diana.
Motion by Mayor Lopez, seconded by Councilmember Gonzalez to add item 8 regarding the space use agreement to the consent calendar. I'll call the roll. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Here.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mayor, that will be added to the agenda and be part of your consent agenda.
Okay.
That's only a change. Thank you.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move Menke.
I second.
Motion by Councilmember Menke, seconded by Councilmember Davis to approve the agenda as amended, adding item 8. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra.
It's a yes, but wouldn't that be item number 9
Oh,
or 8B or something?
yes, it would be 8B. Thank you.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we will take public comments from members of the audience. If you would like to provide a public comment through Zoom, please click the raise hand button. At this time, the public is encouraged to address the City Council on any matter that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The public will also be given a chance to comment on matters which are on the posted agenda during City Council deliberation on those specific matters. Do we have any public comment, City Clerk?
There are no raised hands, but I did receive an email last night.
But we do have one.
Oh, okay. Let me read this and then get back to Marisa. From Francis Ramirez, it says, "Dear Ms. Pope, please read the following into the record of the City Council meeting on March 2nd, 2021. Dear council members, we are responding to the public comments made at the council meeting on February 16th, 2021. First of all, we as tenants of the Vernon Village Apartments want to thank council members Carol Menke and Diana Gonzalez for the outstanding work they have done for the city and its residents. We are civically engaged and have watched the council meeting videos. We were shocked that council members Lopez, Ibarra, and Davis would be proponents of recalling their colleagues Gonzalez and Menke. A recall should be brought by the citizens, not council members, the Chamber of Commerce, and private business owners who have made baseless allegations without one iota of proof have no business getting involved. The chambers stated that a majority of residents are calling for this recall. The only people who support this recall are the 3 members of the city council and members of the mayor and mayor pro tem family. The undersigned, as a community not controlled by the city, have no desire to recall council members Menke and Gonzalez. There is nothing more, this is nothing more than a witch hunt. A mere Google search reveals that no one has committed a crime. We find it extremely suspicious that their allegations about the wind and solar project are being raised almost a year after they failed to receive approval and in the midst of Mayor Lopez's bid for re-election. We are also appalled that Mayor Lopez and Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra would attempt to bribe us with food when they've never cared about us before. This was a blatant attempt to sway our vote and get us to sign a recall petition. Well, it won't work. We can't be bought. Finally, we lend our support to Diana Gonzalez and Carol Menke. We want them to stay. Sincerely, it's signed by 6 people. I can't read their names. And it says residents of Vernon Village Apartments. It says 24 more residents signed this letter. However, we have opted not to include their names in order to protect their privacy and prevent further harassment. Next, we have Marisa Olguin.
Good morning, Council. This is Marisa Olguin, the president with the Vernon Chamber of Commerce. I reviewed the latest voter registration list, and I'm glad to see that the list has been purged and cleaned up. There were about 7 business persons who had mistakenly registered to vote. Carol Menke noted this at the last meeting, and we just wanted to make a statement that no business persons have ever cast a vote in the city council election. From time to time, and especially during presidential election, ballots tend to be sent to business addresses. So I thought it was important for the record to reflect the latest registered voter list. The chamber and its engaged leaders have worked hand in hand with the residential community and city to ensure that we have clean government, integrity, and responsible economic planning for the city. A cornerstone of this effort has included clean elections. In 2012, the chamber fought with residents to expose and root out alleged voter fraud that took place in the city. Carol Menke's husband, Dennis Gula, along with specifically his brothers, who's been tied to former city official Curtis Brash, were found to live in other cities rather than Vernon. They no longer live in Vernon. The chamber will continue to watch and fight for clean elections on behalf of the community. All of us, residents and business residents, want to make sure that those who legitimately live in Vernon can vote in the city. A majority of residents have spoken. Today before you is an ordinance to call an election to remove Carol Menke and Diana Gonzalez from office for inviting corruption back into the city. Support the I vote. Thank you.
Mayor, there are no further raised hands.
Mayor, may I speak in response to the public comment, please?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to respond to the public comment this morning. I'd like to say that I'm disappointed and disheartened that the voice of the public is being leveraged and pushed political agendas. Vernon's worked very hard to achieve this model city status. I cannot stand idly by and watch as actions taken by certain council members threaten the progress and good standing achieved by so many here. While I serve as a city council member, I am also a lifelong resident of the great city, and it's within my right as a resident to take action and speak out upon witnessing multiple occurrences of impropriety, misconduct, and unethical activities. That's the reason why I'm in favor of this recall. Furthermore, I do care for the city, and it's unfortunate that people are thinking that it's a bribe to bring in food distribution into our city. I partnered up with the LA Food Bank and a couple of members of the city council in Huntington Park to bring food into the city. And this is my goal of doing it every month with them. And it's unfortunate if you feel like a bribe is, giving food during the time that we need is a bribe. The fact is, we're not all working towards the same common goal. We do not each have the best interest of the city at heart. And this is why I'm gravely disappointed. I'll close by saying that I do not intend to engage further on any additional outlandish commentary. Thank you.
I would also like to comment in regards to the public comment. I have to express my sincere disappointment with the accusations contained in this letter. Serving the public as a city council member is a duty that I take very seriously, and I do so with the utmost honor and integrity. As a candidate for re-election, I would not attempt to bribe or buy votes. This accusation is appalling. City council members are residents too, and have the same rights as residents to initiate or support any recalls. As city council members, we have frequent interaction with other city council members. The issue of Kern County is the most prominent issue. However, there have been other instances where council members Menke and Gonzalez have expressed views and opinions contrary to Vernon's best interests, good governance practices, and progress towards becoming a model city. I helped initiate the recall against Councilmember Menke and Councilmember Gonzalez because in my heart, I felt it was the right thing to do. The last thing I want to do is bring Vernon back into the spotlight for corruption or bad leadership, but I did it for Vernon's future. The city has made too much progress to let the threat of 2 city council members jeopardize its future. I welcome the public, especially those that signed this letter, to view the meetings, past, present, and current, of the City Council and the Housing Commission and pay close attention to the actions of Councilmember Menke and Gonzalez that are alarming and clearly detrimental and in direct violation of the city's commitment to good governance. In the past, there was another food drive that we partnered up with a neighboring city, and Menke decided that she did not want to be a part of it, even though she was invited to be a part of it. And she declined for whatever reason that was. I've always done what I have felt is right and good for the community at all times. And I have never done anything to jeopardize my integrity throughout the 5 years that I've been serving as a council member. And I would never do that. So thank you.
I had to,
So Mayor, if you'd like to go on to item number 1, presentations.
I don't know if Councilmember Bill wanted to say something.
yeah, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It's unfortunate that Councilman Gonzalez and Menke are personally attacking me with a baseless recall petition instead of defending their action. As an immigrant, came in the United States from the Philippines 52 years ago. I am proud of the fact that I am able to provide experienced leadership and represent so many other immigrants in our country. Like many immigrants, my English are more clearer, but I am proud of what I accomplished. The first raising 3 daughters here grew up in Vernon, and 2 are doctors. And on my 28 years working as a lineman with the Edison Company, like many of you, the COVID-19 pandemic, working from home, technology has been challenged, and I'm humbly enough to ask help if I need it. I'm proud of what I have accomplished as a city councilman, including voted to establish Vernon Village Apartment, initiate city council term limit with including myself, led the effort to slash the city council salary 35%, rent and salary assistance, in fact, by the COVID-19, both last year to extend rental support and eviction methodology. I'm encouraged, do not sign this disgracious petition. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go on to presentation item number 1.
Item 1 is City Administrator Report, and City Administrator Fandino will present the item.
Good morning, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. Before you, I have a presentation, and I'd like to have a discussion on 5 topics. One of them will be cannabis. The other one will be the elections update. The other COVID-19 vaccine distribution, City Hall beautification, and then I want to give an energy markets update. So based on council direction, the city met with the Business and Industry Commission and conducted town hall meetings in the commercial cannabis operations. The first meeting was held February 22nd and the next meeting will be held Thursday, March 4th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. I'd like to get the word out as much as possible so that we can get as much participation as we can. Discussion topics included and will include the general parameters for commercial operations in the city, the outline for the state background check process, public safety impact assessment, proposed zoning, and the timeline to launch of a new program. Staff sent in mass email to Vernon business customers through the Vernon Chamber of Commerce, the city website, and social media platforms, and asking them to participate in these meetings. If anyone has any questions, please contact my office and we can answer those questions. The next I'd like to speak to is the elections update. The city's general municipal election to elect 1 council member for a 5-year term will be held on Tuesday, April 13th. The voting materials and ballots will be mailed to each registered voter beginning March 15th at 2021. Questions related to how the vote and voting process should be directed to the city clerk, Lisa Pope. Additionally, she will be conducting a webinar on the basis of the election process of the Elections 101. I believe she performed the same Elections 101 seminar last year. It will be this Thursday at 6 p.m. The link to the webinar is shown here and will be on the city's website and social media platforms and could be accessed in the future if any of the residents have any questions. Moving on to the COVID-19 vaccine distribution, I am super, super excited and proud of this staff and what we've been able to accomplish over the last couple of weeks. The Vernon Health Department has been working with the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health to receive an allotment of COVID-19 vaccine. If it wasn't for the help of Supervisor Solis, Vernon would not have been afforded this opportunity. So I am proud to be partnering with Supervisor Solis in this effort to vaccinate the Vernon business employees. The city received an initial allotment of 1,170 doses of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine from the county. Additional vaccines will be administered this week with the state guidelines. The Vernon Health Department and Stacy Medical conducted a trial run on Friday, February 26th at Farmer John and Gardenia Coffee. The trial went very well and we were able to get employees vaccinated for those businesses. Vernon residents over the age of 65 were also contacted by city staff and on February 25th, 2021, inviting them to participate. Vaccinations were administered to 65 and older residents and employees at Farmer John. And I believe also Golden West Foods was also part of the trial basis. And this week, we're hoping to start administering to food and agricultural workers in Vernon. For now, the city will be on schedule appointments for the first dose of this vaccine for this week. So if we'll have the health department reaching out to our community, and we are in hopes that we can get additional vaccines within the next couple of days. I want to show you some images of the distribution. To the left is the doctor from Stacy Medical using our van. We do have a mobile van that we're able to go from business to business and administer the shots. And staff from Stacy Medical also assisted Freddie and his staff in administering this. Freddie's staff will also be administering the website registration portal. Any questions on this before I go on to the next topic?
Carlos,
Okay,
I have questions, sorry.
Sure.
How many of our residents have participated in this so far?
can you have Freddie unmute, please? Councilmember Ibarra, 1 second. I'm gonna have Freddie answer so he can get exact
Nick,
numbers from Freddie.
Councilmember Ibarra, I can get the number to by 65 and over that we open up for residents. I want to say it was 5 or 6, but I can confirm that. All the names that were provided
there?
was. Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Freddie.
Oh, can you hear me, Carlos?
Freddie?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Somehow, Carlos, can you hear me?
We're
Hello?
losing video here in the council chambers, so I'm not sure if you can hear me at all.
We can hear you, Carlos.
I think they're working on it, but all the lists that we got from the residents that met the criteria, we're able to vaccinate them.
And you're going to them, just to confirm?
So they came to city, since it was, I think it was 6, they met us at City Hall. I mean,
Okay.
Stacy Medical.
What are we doing to get out to the residents that cannot come to the city?
So we have a van. So they let us know, we can coordinate and stop by.
Okay.
So now the goal is once we get past this phase that is open to everyone, we can go to the village, Vernon Village, we can be around City Hall. So that's the beauty of having a van. We have flexibility of going where, required to give the vaccine.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Carlos?
Mayor, I would recommend a 5-minute break for them to get their technical difficulties taken care of.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll come back.
Difficulties, and we've lost all audio and video in the council chamber, so we're not participants in the meeting.
Is anybody talking right now? We would,
Hi, yeah, okay,
can you have somebody test?
okay, thank you, because we had no idea.
I think in
2 more
general,
minutes. Okay,
you know,
perfect.
We could. carry
Thank
it
you.
where we couldn't hear you guys. I think, if it never worked, you could, they could have just called in with our panelists.
Well, that's what I just did, but yeah.
And that would have got your audio, because everyone else could hear each other, we just couldn't hear you guys.
This is a sound check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I hear you.
I hear you, Minky.
I hear you.
I hear you.
We're unmuted and the video's back on. Sound check. 1, 2, 3.
We hear you.
Okay. So just keep it up on this slide. You don't have to go into view mode. So once the mayor brings us back in, then you could just minimize the presentation. Just close it. Just close it all together. There we go. Yeah. Let's just have a mayor bring us back.
Okay, we're back from our 5-minute break.
Thank you, Mayor. With your permission, I'll continue on my presentation. So, thank you. City Hall beautification. Employees from the facilities, warehouse, and street divisions of Public Works have started to replace some of the old, outdated landscaping around City Hall. Some of you that have walked over to City Hall have seen some of the beautification that is taking place. Colorful, low maintenance, drought tolerant landscape. This work is being executed in phases and anticipated to be completed by the month of July. The project goal is to convert the City Hall complex to drought tolerant landscaping. This will conserve water, reduce maintenance, and improve the appearance and encourage wildlife. In addition, the project will add benches and areas of creating a park-like environment for visitors to enjoy. 6 planters will be improved with the removal of hedges, conditioning the soil, installing weed guards, and planting fountains, grass, and rock succulent. Additionally, the pedestrian walkways are being added between the hardscape and grass areas. You will also notice that once you walk through City Hall, the light fixtures have been upgraded to high efficiency, bright lighting. This will also conserve energy at the City Hall building. All 3 levels of the City Hall building have the new lighting. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show you some of the pictures because we're having technical difficulties with the presentation, but I will email them directly to the city council and make them available to the public. And then the last one is the energy market update. And it's unfortunate some of the events that happened over the last 2 weeks. Unseasonably low temperatures across the lower Midwest and Texas in mid-February dramatically increased gas demand outside Southern California and created supply disruptions. This historic Arctic freeze has crippled much of the nation's natural gas and power infrastructure as demand soared to unprecedented levels. The freeze constrained natural gas well and pipeline, wind turbines, and power plants. On February 17th, power prices and the California Independent System Operator, known as Cal ISO, electric market averaged 430 megawatt hours, reaching 1,000 megawatt hours for some hours. These are astonishing numbers, as we haven't seen some of these prices since the 1990s. The average power price a week ago was $39 a megawatt hour. So you can see that, you know, $430 through $1,000 was a very cost prohibitive for the city to endure. Natural gas prices on February 17th delivery averaged at $112 per MMBTU compared to the $3.55 MMBTU a week ago. On the same date, natural gas prices in Oklahoma averaged $944 an MMBTU and $205 in Texas. Why is this important to our Vernon businesses? Because those businesses here in Vernon will be affected by these rates that we endured during that time frame. We were proactive to shield customers from financial impacts of these energy prices. VPU called customers by phone. They emailed and used social media to advise customers on the need to conserve energy during these times. The utility maximized non-fossil fuel generation from nuclear and hydro generation. This is similar to buying tortillas during a bread shortage. The utility curtailed interruptible electric load to lower energy demand, which means the volunteer shut-off customers were shut off. Also, VPU has also lowered natural gas and fuel generation from a local power plant. Mayor, this concludes my presentation for city administrator reports, and I'll take any questions from city council.
Does city council have any questions for staff? Seeing that there are none, we will now go on to the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion. Items may be removed from the consent calendar by any member of the council. Those items removed will be considered immediately after the consent calendar. Does council wish to pull any items from the consent calendar?
I move.
I'll pull item 7.
Okay, so is there any public comment for the consent calendar?
It would be appropriate to have a motion on the remaining items, and then when we get to item 7, there is, no, there's not. Sorry.
Okay, so we will, may I have a motion for consent calendar item numbers 2 through 6 and 8?
I'll move.
And
I'll
8B.
And 8B.
Yes,
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Mayor Lopez to approve the consent calendar items 2 through 6, 8, and 8B. Mayor Lopez,
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 7 is recall petition acceptance and call of special election, and I am available to answer any questions Councilmember Menke or others may have.
I'll unmute. The question I specifically have is, according to the elections code, which we adopted, you can't have an election immediately following a holiday, and June 1st is right after Memorial Day. So I'd like you to answer that, please.
Sure. Elections, Municipal Code Section 2.118B provides that special municipal elections may be held on any date, regardless of whether the date is an established election date under the general laws of the state governing municipal elections. So June 1st is an allowable date in the city of Vernon.
So we took out all those parts of the election code except that one. I thought the only one that we left was regarding campaign contributions. Am I mistaken?
There were provisions that remained regarding the conduct of elections, and this section falls under that area of the code.
Would you mind sending me, since it hasn't been updated on our website, the cleanup that we accomplished? Would you mind sending me that too?
Sure.
Then additionally, the code requires that the election official, which is you, certify the number of residents that are registered in the city of Vernon pursuant to the county officials' report to the Secretary of State. I noticed that you relied on the Secretary of State's report, which is stale dated, it's October of last year. And as you well know, since we have such a small electorate, it's very important we have an accurate count. So I'm curious as to why you relied on that information.
The report that I relied on is the county's report to the Secretary of State dated in October. Their next report will come out in the next couple of weeks pursuant to Elections Code Section 2187. So that is the county's report to the Secretary of State.
Well, I'm confused since it says it's the Secretary of State's report and it lists all counties. So I don't see how that could be true.
It only lists Los Angeles County. If you look at attachment 1 to the agenda report, this is the County of Los Angeles Registrar Recorder's date 10/19/2020. This is the county's report to the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State selects to put it in whatever format they get it once they receive it, but this is the county's report to the Secretary of State, the last report, which is what I'm required to use to determine the number of signatures for the recall petition.
Are you confident that this is the last report since the county elections official is required on or before March 1st of this year to submit a new report?
I am confident that this is the last report as of the date that the petitions were submitted was in October 2020. I've confirmed with the county, I've double checked. Their next report will come out at the beginning of March.
Okay, it's due on or before March 1st. So maybe I guess they're a little bit late. Okay, thank you for answering my questions.
Okay, do I have a motion for item number 7?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Second, I second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Davis, to receive the certificates of sufficiency on the petitions to recall Councilmember Diana Gonzalez and Councilmember Carol Menke, to adopt resolution number 2021-02, calling and giving notice of an all-mail ballot special municipal election to be held on Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, for the submission of the question of the recall of Diana Gonzalez and Carol Menke and the election of 2 city council members to fill the vacancy if the recalls prevail. And to adopt resolution number 2021-03, requesting the Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles to render specified services to the city relating to the conduct of a special municipal election to be held on Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. I'll call the question. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes,
Councilmember Menke,
No.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
No.
Motion carries.
We will now go on to new business, item number 9.
Item 9 is electric vehicle charging stations, and Public Works Director Wahl will present the report.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, transportation is the leading cause of smog and greenhouse gas in California. Electric vehicles are a very clean form of transportation, producing no air pollution. Non-residential building standards that support electric vehicle charging are a low-cost opportunity to reduce the barriers to the widespread use of this clean form of transportation. Vernon has adopted California's Green Building Standards as part of our building code. The Green Building Standards require that all new non-residential buildings install the infrastructure needed to support vehicle chargers in 6% of parking spaces. These standards fall short by not requiring the installation of the actual chargers. The item before you would amend Vernon's municipal code to require the installation of at least one vehicle charger for actions that trigger conformity with our current development and site planning standards, and that in new building construction, 6% of all required automobile spaces be equipped with vehicle chargers. The installation of vehicle chargers will reduce the barriers to transportation access in the workplace, leading to a reduction of air pollution, not only in Vernon, but in the surrounding communities. This action will make Vernon a leader among Southern California cities in the promotion of clean transportation. This concludes my report.
Does council have any technical questions for staff on item number 9?
I do. Dan, if a company wants to upgrade in anything, in any way, other than remodeling, like tearing down a building and putting the structure back up, would we require them to install an electric vehicle charging stations?
Yes, under the item before you, there's a couple of things that would trigger that. For example, if over 25% of the building has been vacant for more than 2 years, we would currently require them to meet all of the site planning standards before they allowed that 25% space to come back online. So that would include meeting parking requirements. So under the proposed amendment, we would also require one parking space to be equipped with a EV charger. One of the other things too would be if there's a slight increase in floor area, not necessarily removing the building, but if they wanted to add additional square footage, say through a mezzanine or something, that would also trigger that they meet the parking requirements. And as part of those requirements, this item would amend the code to require one parking space be equipped with a EV charger.
Okay, and then I have a follow-up question. Since we're limited parking here within the city, would we be able to use that parking space as a multi-use? So cars who do not need charging can also use it?
Yes, just because there's an EV charging station on a parking space does not mean that we're prohibiting who can use that space. We're making this a requirement so that it is available, and that would be up to the property owner or the business operator to establish rules for who could park at that space.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question as well, Dan. How did we come up with the 6%?
So 6% is currently what the green building standards that we've adopted, their statewide standards, require for infrastructure. So 6% of the parking spaces have to have the conduit already going to them, and they have to have panels, blank. It doesn't have to have a circuit on it, but just a blank panel in the overall electrical panel to provide future breakers for the chargers. So the 6%, all we're doing is just saying, okay, the infrastructure is already required. Go ahead and install the chargers in that 6%.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Are there any additional questions for staff?
I have a question, Dan.
Yes.
I understand that putting these charging stations in is very expensive. Have we had any feedback from the business community?
We haven't had feedback from the business community, and as far as costs go, the total cost of installation for an EV station averages around $3,000. But if we exclude the infrastructure that's already mandated by the Green Code, we're looking at about $1,200 to $1,500. So they've already made the investment, and it's not being utilized. So that's what this is requiring, an additional $1,200 to $1,500 per space to get the chargers in place.
That's not bad at all. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, may I have a motion for item number 9?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Gonzalez to waive full reading and introduce and conduct first reading of ordinance